Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. I am Kimberly de Souza in your company. It's just after 25 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock, and we're switching gears a bit as we talk about fire season. There is something called fire season, and I have two officers with me who are going to tell us about how we can be aware of it, how we can prevent bushfires, and all-around safety during the season. So with me, I have Acting Divisional Fire Officer, Mr. Mukhaji Rampersad, and I also have Acting Fire Officer Jude Rogers. Gentlemen, good morning, and welcome to the Now Morning Show.
Thank you. Good morning, ma'am.
Nice. So first of all, let's just jump right into it. I mean, we know that when we have a fire, we have to call you guys, but is there a specific role of the fire officers in the fire service?
Yes.
And I guess I can start off with you, Mr. Rampersad.
Yes, Ms. Kimberly. Very good question. The role of the fire service in Trinidad and Tobago is enshrined in an Act 35 of 50. And really it states that we are to save life and property from destruction from fire and other hazards. In addition to that, we are also to provide advice upon the advice and preventive measures one would take to prevent your home from destruction from fires and other hazards. Apart from that, we also render humanitarian service, and we are also to conduct investigation into fires to determine the cause and origin. So the fire service in itself has a big role as an emergency response organization working under the ambit of national security, under the umbrella of national security. So we execute these functions. I just want to just take
yes,
this
of course, once you're comfortable. Once you're comfortable, yes.
Yeah. To execute these functions to enrich the lives of the citizens in terms of fire safety.
Right. Now, you said that you all conduct investigations. Do you partner with the TTPS to do this, or do you have your own department that does this?
Well, at times I must say that we share information, but investigation to the cause and origin of fire falls solely onto the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service, in particular the Fire Prevention Department.
Right.
If there's any added information to be gained from the police, of course, we share information, and that now construct our report to come to the final conclusion to determine what may have caused or likely to have caused a fire.
Right. Now, you mentioned the fire prevention department, and I'm heading across to you, Mr. Rogers. I mean, what are the roles of some of the fire prevention officers, and is it as simple as it seems to prevent fires?
Well, as the name says, fire prevention. So we start off first and foremost by making the members of the public aware. So we have a role of community awareness, we have community training, and so that's one of the ways that you can prevent a fire. Prevention is better than
cure.
Right. And so then next we roll out our fire investigative arm, which the officer alluded to. And also we have the inspection unit, and that is another proactive arm of the fire service. So we're not going to wait for you to build the building and then come and tell you what to do. You drop your plans in, you bring your plans into the fire service. We would then place on that plan what are the requirements that the fire service believes would be the best to protect your home, businesses, and so forth from fires.
Nice. Now, how long does this process take? If I want to bring in something, my documents, let's say today, can you walk me through the process of it?
All right, so you bring it into the fire prevention department today. We give you a ticket or some sort of number that you know that you can track your particular plan, and then you should be able to get back that within 5 working days, and you implement. When you implement, we re-inspect, and a certificate is granted.
Nice, interesting. Now, Officer Rampersad, there is something called fire season. Can you just discuss exactly what that is?
Right. So the fire season is defined by the Minister of Agriculture in accordance with the Agricultural Fire Act, Chapter 6302. And that really spans a period from the 1st of December one year to the 30th of June the other year. Now, and any other time that the Minister will so prescribe. Now, that particular period, being that the climate of Trinidad and Tobago is predominantly 2 seasons, the dry and the wet seasons. And those are the months, well, the weather conditions are hot and dry. So, more than likely, you're looking at the screen here, you'd see fires more than likely, bush fires, forest fires will occur during that particular period based on the prevailing weather conditions at the time. But that fire season is signaled by the Minister of Agriculture.
Now, is it that if you light a fire, let's say, it's more probable to cause a bushfire or something worse in the dry season rather than the wet season?
Correct.
Exactly.
Right.
Just simply because of the prevailing hot and dry conditions. Lighting a fire with or without a permit in the bushfire season in itself is dangerous because it can't get away from you. Simply because the moisture from those vegetation is sucked out because of the amount of heat energy from the sun. So the amount of fuel that is there in terms of dry grass and shrubs or even trees, it is a huge amount. So and then you don't understand that these shrubs and grasses temperatures also raised because of the environmental conditions. So any source of ignition would light that very, very quickly, and then because of all around that is parched and dry, it will just move. High winds also associated during that period will also move that fire very quickly. Speed and power of fire is really magnificent. It does do some damage.
Now, I think one of the things that people use fire for is to dispose of waste. Are there any other alternatives that you can suggest? And maybe, Mr. Rogers, if you want, you can jump in here. Any other alternatives to burning of disposal or refuge or anything we can use?
Oh, definitely. The fact of the matter is that you do sometimes have to clear land if you're doing a development. People use it, slash and burn when you're talking about agriculture and farming. So it is advisable that persons tend to, or they should try as best as they can. If there's an alternative, you should use that alternative. There may be many other patterns that you can use other than actually burning. So we're asking persons, you can actually speak to your corporations, you can get them to dispose of your garbage and so forth, and not have an accumulation of that and having it readily available or in place so when a fire comes. We're also asking persons to cut a fire trace, which is an exclusion zone of about 3 to 5 feet between your property fence line and that of your vegetation, your even your animals and all your home as well. You really don't want a bushfire to come all the way up and find fuel in the form of, let's say, the dry shrubs that it can readily burn your property and things that you've worked so hard for.
Nice. Now, Mr. Rampersad, in terms of fines, because I think you mentioned something about permits, can you apply to actually light a fire? And if you do it illegally, is there a fine attached?
Of course. During the dry season or the fire season, bushfire season, it is permissible to light fires outdoors for the purpose of cooking. Any other fire you wish to light, you need to apply to get a fire permit.
So a river line by Cora is okay?
For cooking. If it's for cooking purposes, yes.
Right.
But anything other than that, one has to apply for a fire permit.
Right.
And that can be done very easily. Throughout the Trinidad and Tobago, we have fire stations strategically located. And you visit that fire stations. And during the bushfire season as well, we have employed what we call fire guardians. And they are there to assist us in that whole management of the bushfire season.
That's right.
So when you come as a client or you come as a member of the public and you state your claim, we will take the necessary information and then we will probably do a site visit and give you the necessary precautions or requirements depending on the size of the land or whatever that you want to burn. And then you have to adhere to that which is recorded on that document.
That's right.
So
And if you don't abide by all that?
Well, you can be penalized. I can withdraw the permit.
Right.
The fire guardian, the county fire officer can withdraw the permit, and so but other than that, although we give all these conditionalities, it's not far-fetched to see that fire get out of control, because that's the very nature of it. So we try our best to kind of control the burning, and that is a sum of $10 you pay to the deposit to the district revenue office. We give you your fire permit, and you are now free to burn.
Now, Officer Rampersad, I know you said that you can withdraw the permit, but like, for example, if I do it illegally, is there a term of imprisonment? Is there an out-of-pocket fine I have to pay?
So if someone is caught, lighting a fire without a fire permit outdoors, not for the purpose of cooking, there is a fine in accordance with the Act. That fine has been increased recently to up to a value of $20,000. And if you are found guilty in courts of law, then you also associate a 6 months imprisonment with it.
And is this in any way in association with the EMA? Does the Environmental Management Authority get involved in this aspect as well?
No, not
Well, I don't want to say yes or no, but I can say because of the bushfire itself, because of the large volumes of smoke that is emitted, and more than that, even not really bushfires, we have discarded tires and all those stuff, and this in fact, I would say endangers the environment, and as such, I think that the EMA should, or I think they at times do get involved, because when fire service comes up or meets up this type of situation, we do refer it to the EMA and inform them that what we have seen. Also the Borough Corporation, because what has happened is that people dump rubbish all over the place, especially tires.
Right.
And that causes a problem when it is large volumes of smoke that damages the environment.
Now, Officer Rogers, unfortunately, these fires do occur.
Yes.
What can we tell to the public to help them prevent these fires?
Right, so we're asking the members of the public to adhere to the law. Do you know that there is a bushfire season? It has a very impactful time on the environment, and we disturb natural habitats. Think about the animals, think about the little children, think about the older folks who are not able to move away from the effects of a bushfire. All right, not to mention the damage to property and also possibly life. So we're asking members, be mindful, be fire safe. Think about the environment, think about even when you're going down the highway, if you have a bushfire season, there are visibility issues that you're going to incur. Think about the possibility of an accident occurring as a result of a bushfire. Yeah. So we're asking members of the public to be mindful, and also the discarding of waste. That's also contributing to it. Please don't discard waste, and if you're doing so, do it in a proper manner so that you can actually minimize the accumulation of garbage and indiscriminate burning as well.
Right. Now, I want to switch gears a little bit. Of course, in this country, we love fireworks, right? And so, of course, there's a fireworks bill now, and you can only light it on certain days, etc. But is there any safety tips you can give for people who want to, light these fireworks, during holiday season?
Oh, definitely. So fireworks, in the form of Class C fireworks, is what you will find you can purchase as a member of the public, and that is consumer-type fireworks. You see them being sold at the normal dealers, and you can actually, they are licensed by the court as well. But we're saying fireworks is something that you don't give to children, first and foremost. Fireworks should be managed in an open outdoor area where there are no aerial, let's say, trees or anything that can hit that. So you want a very clear open savanna, spaces like that we can actually get. You also want to not shoot fireworks directly at another person. It's not a game. This is a serious thing, and people have lost fingers, their eyes, so forth. So we want you to be mindful. There are instructions on each firework as to how that firework should be discharged. We're saying follow the labeled instructions. All right? Treat the firework as though it's something that can actually cause harm or damage to your body parts. All right? And you can enjoy yourself with firework, but in a safe manner.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, good. Now, as we wrap, of course, I'm coming back to you, Officer Rampersad. I know that we have this initiative going on, but anything else you want to tell the public about fire safety and just ensuring all-round awareness during this season?
Well, I must say, and I just want to add a few statistics to this mix. For the last 4 years, or let me just go back to 20, coming right back, we had losses of fire in the amounts to $2 billion. And fire service, in their efforts, have managed to save property in the value of $2 billion. So in a sense, fire service in itself is satisfying its function, its role in help preventing fires and destruction of property. What we have seen thus far for the year 2022 is an increase in the number of bushfires. For the month of January, we have already recorded 93 bushfires, as opposed to 2021, where we only recorded 63 for that particular month. In addition to which, what is somewhat startling for us now is the amount of deaths as a result of fires. For this period, we have already recorded 8 deaths by fires, associated with fires, as opposed to last period, 2021, for the same period, in the month of January, February, and March, we only had 3. Now, we can't attribute anything just yet. We have not found a pattern to determine what would have caused the increase. So what my last closing statement should be is to ask the public to partner with us, to engage us, engage your nearest fire station. Inculcate within their psyche a culture of fire safety.
Yeah.
Seems to be, the unwanted or the discarded smoking material in form of a cigarette butt could cause a lot of destruction.
Right.
Leaving food cooking and you get distracted for some reason and leave it on there. Leaving children unattended.
Electricity.
Thanks.
All these your electrical wirings in your
Yes.
house need to be inspected every 5 years.
Yes.
All these simple little tips could go a long way in saving a lot of grief. I also implore citizens to install basic fire detection systems, a simple smoke alarm,
Yes. Yes.
and just one extinguisher, multi-purpose 9-kilogram extinguisher, will go a long way in saving a whole lot of property and
Yes.
maybe lives and injury. So we are
Officer.
imploring the community at large, your partner, you need advice, visit the nearest fire station. Visit the fire prevention department.
Definitely.
All fire officers are fire prevention officers. And we are here to serve the public, to enrich their lives, to make their lives better in terms of inculcating that psyche of fire safety within the country.
Officer Rampersad, let me just thank you so much. We are out of time. I'm going to give you 2 seconds, Officer Rogers, just to show your T-shirt, and then we're going to wrap.
So we have the fire prevention message here. Plan, prepare, and practice your escape. And I actually brought this for you, Kimberly. So let me just show it up again.
Yes.
Plan, prepare, and practice your escape. Because we don't want anybody to die as a result of being trapped in your home.
Thank
so
you
we are
so much.
presenting this to you.
Thank you so
on
much,
behalf of the
Officer
Trinidad
Rogers.
Fire Service.
Thank you
Alright?
so much, Officer
welcome.
Rogers. Thank you so much, Officer Rampersad, for joining us on the Now Morning Show.